Okay, guys, it's been a little while since we've actually kind of revisited the HBAR chart, but we can actually see here that we hit both of our targets now on our breakout for Hedera's hash graph. So in today's video, we're going to be jumping down into the technical analysis, reviewing what I think is likely to happen next and all that wonderful stuff. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Okay, guys, welcome back to Hedera Hashgraph HBAR price analysis update. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to review where things have been going and what I think is likely to happen next here. So this is HBAR paired up with 𝗕𝗃. This is just a daily Binance chart to start with, so a big macro kind of view. Here we were seeing a breakout. We were first targeting out the 8.59 to 9.9. We were then looking for a cool down and then a final break up. So we found support on our 200 EMA, okay, down here. That's the white line. Then we broke up into this final range, 10.9 to 14.14. This is where we're likely to see bigger reversals in the market and bigger calling off periods for Hedera Hashgraph. Now, this is all very corrective in the way that it's kind of played out. There isn't much going on here to give me a lot of confidence right at this moment. It does obviously look a lot stronger than it has done during 2022, but it's not giving me that kind of vibe that we're going to hold up and we know we can only go up from here. It's getting some great price action recently, some big strong candles, but the overlapping nature of all of this price action is giving me some ground for concern. So let's bring this into a 4-hour time frame. Let's kind of review where things are right here. Okay, so as you can see, we had the breakout, right? Very obvious. Here we can see this great growth to the upside, which I do not think is finished just yet. I still see potentially a little bit further to the upside to go, right? As I said, 14.14 would be the higher range expectation. Not saying that that's going to happen, but it's going to be the slightly higher range expectation. We just hit the lower side at the moment. So a little bit more growth in this, I do believe. Now, as we can kind of see here, we have some interesting things I can draw on. So I'm going to remove our kind of load breakdown area. That's done, so we can remove that. But what I can do is kind of show you kind of where things currently are sat. We've kind of had a little breakout from here, but I don't think this trend line would be the best one to kind of be utilizing. And if I try and find a good area to be kind of looking for, I think we want to be snapping this up here probably, and then utilizing this swing high. If I can get it, there we go. And here we can see that we kind of broke from here there. Let's see if we can, actually I can see it probably as this one over here. That's the one I want. So if I snap our trend line over to here and we snap it to there, that gets us right up there in that higher range of around 13. That makes a lot more sense. So that's going to be our upper area of resistance based on our moves here going up a little bit more, because I do see that breaking up a little bit further. As I said, 1.4, right? Or 14.14 is the area to kind of be aiming for. Now, in terms of our lower trend line, this is actually quite a steep one, and it comes in down here, and that's going to be a bit of a problem for Hedera Hashgraph. Okay, I'm going to draw this in right inside here. So as you can kind of see, this is quite a steep trend line on the low support side. This is actually a problem because this type of trend line historically, I'll say historically, but this type of trend line becomes quite negative, right? It's quite a bearish one. You can't see these kind of steep moves without sharp corrections later. So we have the upper area of resistance. We can see that right there. And we have our sharp area of support. This is an ascending wedge pattern and is the same as Bitcoin, basically meaning that we're likely to get a breakdown from here if we cannot rally above or break above our trend line on our upper trend line, right? So our area of resistance, we need to get a breakout from there. Okay, so if we were to trade Hedera Hashgraph, how would we do it? Well, right now, it would say that we probably don't want to trade right at this moment in time. We either want to get close to the low trend line or close to the upper trend line, right? So for me, I'm going to be looking at this with the expectation to push up a little bit higher here and target out a short position from our trend line here, okay, with take profit down on the lower trend line, tight stop loss. Okay, now the reason for this would be that I would expect, because of how much this is run at the moment, I expect our upper trend line to hold as resistance. Okay, and so because I'm expecting that to hold, I'm not expecting a breakout situation. I would expect to enter a short position with a stop loss just above the trend line. This would give me a 6.97% or 6.97 risk reward ratio, which basically means for every $1 of risk, I would get $6.97 back. Okay, so if I am to be trading, I am of course going to be trading with good risk management and with good R&Rs. Basically, the risk reward ratio has to be above 1.5 for me personally. Some people might even want it to be higher than that. Now, if I am to be trading with leverage, I am going to be using 𝗕𝗬𝗓. 𝗕𝗬𝗓 is my go-to platform for leverage-based trades. There's a link for this in the description down below. If you haven't yet checked it out, what are you waiting for? I do think you're missing a trick. There's plenty of bonuses and rewards depending on the different countries that you're operating in. All the terms and conditions are in there on their website and in the description down below. So why not check it out? I don't think you'll regret it. It's a nice, easy to use platform, and yeah, I really do rate 𝗕𝗬𝗓. Now, the other way of looking at this is to also potentially put a long position, okay, on the previous, on the stop loss of your short. Tight stop loss just below the trend line and a breakout situation to the upside. This allows you to kind of capture both areas around our trend line. Okay, so basically, if we break out above, we can go long. And if we get rejected on the trend line, we're going short. The tight stop loss on both scenarios and means that you're going to basically net more than you are going to lose as long as you're trading both correctly. You make sure you have stop losses, make sure you have good risk management, all that kind of stuff. Now, it's worth noting that I am not a financial advisor. I can only offer you my thoughts and opinions on what I think personally is going to happen inside the charts here. Okay, and if you do have access to a financial advisor, you should probably consult them. Ultimately, this is my personal take on the market, and I would be waiting for a move to this upper trend line before trading. Now, we could, of course, anyone who wants to kind of gamble on the market, just go long here with a really stupidly tight stop loss and target out that trend line at the upside. It's perfectly fine to do that, but I would say it's a lot higher risk. Likewise, if we do make it back down to our low trend line here, the same scenario applies. We either go long with a tight stop loss just below the trend line, and again, we can target out the higher trend line, or of course, you know, we go short on the market after breaking and closing below the trend line, stop loss above the trend line, and then we'll target out the previous area of support, which I would say we would probably be looking somewhere around here at about 5.8. Again, great risk reward ratios on both of these. So lots of different ways to kind of approach the market from a trading point of view as we find ourselves coiling up into this wedge shaped pattern for Hedera's hash graph. So for the most part, I'm still expecting this to kind of continue up a little bit more. We're calling off just right now, but I do see this one still pushing up towards our upper trend line, heading out more towards kind of 14 cents. So guys, why don't you check out this video here I've just recorded for 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗓. It has some pretty interesting potential for a little bit further to the upside, but also some great areas for accumulation.